Hello, friends. Welcome to English Elevate. In a world that never stops talking, where notifications never sleep, and noise becomes the rhythm of our lives, there is a rare and sacred force that holds unimaginable power: silence. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of presence. This is not about muting the world, it's about listening to something deeper: yourself. Today, you're not just going to hear words. You're going to discover the silence that awakens giants, rebuilds empires, and unlocks the hidden strength within you. Silence is not a void. It is not the absence of thought or emotion. It is a profound presence, a calm center in the whirlwind of existence. Silence allows us to listen, not only to others, but to ourselves. It is in this stillness that we uncover our deepest truths, our greatest strengths, and our most profound insights. This speech is a journey into that silent world, a voyage into the power that lies in the unspoken. We will explore how silence can strengthen the mind, nurture the soul, sharpen our focus, deepen our relationships, and elevate our lives. This is not just a call to be quiet. It is a call to listen, to reflect, to grow. It is a call to awaken the strength within. This is the power of silence. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Noise of the World. We live in a world overflowing with noise, external and internal. Everywhere you go, something is screaming for your attention. Billboards, news feeds, social media, advertisements, notifications. Even when we try to be alone, we are still not alone, because the noise outside becomes the voice inside. You scroll through hundreds of posts, not realizing you're absorbing hundreds of opinions. You check your phone every few minutes, not realizing you're becoming addicted to distraction. You listen to the voices of others so often that you begin to lose your own. We've been conditioned to believe that speaking more, doing more, showing more is the path to power. But there is a hidden truth no one talks about. True strength is not in how loud you can be, it's in how silent you can become and still remain unshaken. Silence is not weakness. Silence is the sign of a person who has mastered themselves, because only a fool speaks all the time, but the wise listen, and they grow. Chapter 2. The Illusion of Constant Communication. We live in the age of noise. Every second, notifications ring. People speak, post, argue, react. We've been conditioned to believe that louder is stronger, that speaking faster, typing faster, posting more, somehow makes us more important. But real communication isn't about volume, it's about impact. And sometimes, the most impactful message is silence. Think about it. When someone pauses before they speak, don't you listen more carefully? When a teacher stops mid-sentence and looks at the class silently, isn't that moment louder than words? Silence is attention. Silence is presence. Silence, when used intentionally, speaks louder than anything else. Chapter 3. The Power of Listening. When you're silent, you begin to truly listen. And listening, deep, present, soul-level listening, is one of the most powerful tools in human connection. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. They're just waiting for their turn to speak. But silence changes that. It allows space. It creates room for emotions to surface, for truth to emerge, for healing to happen. Whether you're a leader, a friend, a partner, or a stranger, your ability to stay silent and listen will often be the greatest gift you give someone. And in that space, in that listening, people feel seen, understood, valued. Chapter 4. The Inner Storm. Inside every person is a storm, a chaos of thoughts, fears, doubts, and memories. And most people spend their lives reacting to this storm. They run from it. They try to silence it by covering it with noise. More work, more entertainment, more talking, more doing. But the storm never disappears. It only grows. The secret? You don't escape the storm by running away. You calm the storm by facing it in silence. Silence is a mirror. And that's why it's so uncomfortable for most people, because it shows them who they truly are. It strips away all masks, filters, and distractions and puts you face to face with your own soul. And when you face yourself, you begin to understand. You begin to heal. You begin to awaken a part of you that has been asleep. It is in silence that you realize you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not the story you keep telling yourself. You are the awareness behind them. And when you awaken that awareness, you unlock the real power. Chapter 5. Silence is not weakness, it's power. Society tells us that silence is weakness, that if you're not speaking up, you're being ignored, that if you're not loud, you're insignificant. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Silence is not the absence of power, it's the presence of control. The most powerful people in the world are not those who speak the most. They're the ones who choose their words with precision, whose silence commands more respect than others' speeches. Think of a lion. The lion doesn't roar constantly. It doesn't need to. Its silence is not fear. It's focus. It's awareness. It's strength and restraint. True strength is not in how loud you are, but in how deeply you know yourself. When you are silent, you are in control. You are not reacting to the world. You are responding with purpose. You are not pulled by emotion. You are guided by intention. Silence allows you to choose your words. It gives you space to reflect. It gives you time to understand what really matters. And that is where real power lives. Not in noise, but in clarity. Not in reaction, but in reflection. Chapter 6. Historical Power of Silence. Look through history, and you'll find something profound. Every great leader, mystic, warrior, and revolutionary, they all knew the power of silence. Buddha attained enlightenment not through noise, but through stillness. Mahatma Gandhi observed a day of silence every week to maintain his clarity and strength. Nikola Tesla once said, "The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude." These weren't men of weakness, they were men of immense power, rooted in silence. Even warriors understand this. The best martial artists are not the loudest in the room. They are the quiet ones, observing, calculating, precise, because silence is preparation. Silence is strategy. Silence is power. It is in silence that empires are dreamed, strategies are crafted, and destinies are rewritten. Chapter 7. Emotional Mastery Through Silence. Do you know what gives away your power? Reacting to every emotion, responding to every insult, engaging with every provocation. A truly powerful person is not the one who fights every battle. It is the one who chooses which battles are worth fighting. And how do you do that? Silence. When someone disrespects you, pause. When your emotions rise, breathe. When the world pushes you to react, choose to reflect. Silence doesn't mean suppression. It means observation. You learn to observe your anger instead of becoming it. You witness your fear instead of feeding it. This is not avoidance. This is emotional mastery. When you speak from emotion, you create regret. When you speak from silence, you create impact. Chapter 8. Building Mental Strength. Mental strength is not the absence of struggle. It's the presence of discipline in the face of chaos. And discipline is born in silence. Silence builds your ability to sit with discomfort. It teaches you patience, something modern society has almost forgotten. Everything today is built for speed. Fast food, fast money, fast fame. But growth, real growth, happens in silence and slowness. You can't grow a tree by pulling it every day. You must plant the seed, water it, and let it grow. In silence. The gym may build your muscles, but silence builds your mind. When you learn to sit quietly with your thoughts, without distraction, you develop a mind like a blade, sharp, calm, and focused. Chapter 9. The Creative Fire Within. Do you know where your best ideas are born? Not when you're screaming, not when you're surrounded by people, not when you're multitasking. They come in silence, in the shower, on a walk, in the early morning or late night when everything is still. Because creativity needs space. And silence is space. Silence unlocks imagination. It opens doors to visions, dreams, art, innovation. Why do you think monks go on retreats? Why do writers escape to cabins in the woods? Why do entrepreneurs meditate? Because silence isn't just peaceful, it's productive. Every great invention, every world-changing idea started as a silent whisper in someone's mind. Chapter 10, Mastering Relationships Through Silence. Silence is not just for solitude, it's powerful in relationships too. Think about it. How many arguments could be avoided if people just paused before reacting? How many misunderstandings are caused not by what is said, but by saying too much? Listening is one of the rarest skills today, and silence is its foundation. When you truly listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart, you build deeper connections. You begin to understand not just words, but emotions behind the words. Silence teaches empathy. It teaches presence. It teaches you to respond, not react. In love, in friendship, in business. Silence can save relationships that words would destroy. Chapter 11. When silence heals, silence is also healing. When we're in pain, the noise of the world often becomes unbearable. Everyone has advice. Everyone has opinions. But what we need is not more voices. We need space to feel grief, heartbreak, loss, trauma. These are not healed by noise. They are healed in silence. Silence gives you permission to cry, to grieve, to let go, to forgive, to rebuild. In silence we face our demons. We process our wounds. We rediscover our strength. And sometimes, in our darkest moments, silence is the only thing that makes sense. But here's the beauty. If you can sit with your pain in silence, you begin to transform it. You begin to rise. You begin to reclaim your power. And when you emerge from that silence, you are no longer the same person. You are stronger, wiser, braver. You are reborn. Chapter 12. The Spiritual Dimension of Silence. There's a reason why every spiritual path emphasizes silence. In prayer, in meditation, in mindfulness, the goal is the same: to silence the outer world and hear the inner voice. You are not just a body. You are not just a mind. You are something deeper, something infinite, something divine. But to access that, you must go beyond words. The soul does not speak in language. It speaks in silence. When you sit in true stillness, without expectation, without noise, without agenda, you touch something sacred. You realize that silence is not empty. It is full of answers. And in that moment, you are no longer lost. You are found. Chapter 13. The Discipline of Silence. Let's be honest, staying silent isn't easy. It takes discipline not to respond when someone attacks you. It takes strength to sit with your emotions rather than express them immediately. It takes humility to pause instead of proving your point. But in that pause is power. You don't lose anything by being silent. You gain clarity, perspective, and presence. In fact, the more silent you are, the more people respect you. Not because you dominate the conversation, but because when you speak, your words carry weight. They've been tempered by thought, by reflection, by silence. Chapter 14. The Misunderstood Power of Silence. Silence is often misunderstood. It is mistaken for weakness, ignorance, or apathy. But the truth is, silence is one of the most potent forms of communication and self-mastery. Silence speaks volumes. In moments of tension, a silent pause can diffuse aggression. In times of joy, a shared silence can deepen connection. And in periods of grief, silence often offers more comfort than any words could. Silence gives us control. It creates a space between stimulus and response, a space in which we can choose our reaction. This ability to pause and respond mindfully rather than react impulsively is a hallmark of emotional intelligence. Furthermore, silence is a sign of confidence. When we're comfortable with silence, we don't feel the need to fill every moment with words. We're secure enough to let our presence, rather than our voice, do the talking. In leadership, in love, in life, silence often speaks louder than noise. Chapter 15. Silence as a strategic tool. Silence is not just spiritual or emotional, it is also strategic. In the realm of business, politics, and negotiations, silence is a powerful tool. Consider a negotiation. The person who can remain silent after making an offer holds the power. That silence creates pressure. It forces the other party to respond. Often, in their discomfort, they reveal more than they intend. In interviews, presentations, and debates, a well-timed pause can emphasize a point more effectively than 100 words. It draws attention. It signals confidence. It commands respect. Silence also enhances creativity. Many great inventors, artists, and thinkers have relied on periods of solitude and silence to do their most important work. In the quiet, the mind can wander, make connections, and birth new ideas. If you want to make better decisions, build stronger relationships, or innovate more effectively, learn to embrace silence. Chapter 16. Making silence a habit. To experience the full power of silence, we must make it a regular part of our lives. Here are some simple but effective ways to do so. 1. Daily silent time. Set aside at least 10 to 20 minutes each day for silence. No phones, no distractions. Just sit, breathe, and be. 2. Silent mornings. Begin your day without screens or conversations. Let your mind wake up naturally. 3. Mindful walks. Take walks in nature without headphones. Listen to the sounds around you, the wind, the birds, your footsteps. 4. Silent meals. Eat in silence once a day. Focus fully on the taste, texture, and experience of your food. 5. Digital detox. Designate certain hours or even days as technology-free. Embrace the quiet. 6. Listening practice. In conversations, practice listening without interrupting. Notice how often you want to speak, and choose instead to stay silent. 7. Silence retreats. Consider attending a silence retreat for a few days. The experience can be life-changing. Over time, these practices will deepen your relationship with silence and, in turn, with yourself. Chapter 17. Silence in action. How it transforms lives. Let's talk about how silence shows up in real life. A professional negotiator once said, "The most powerful tool in a negotiation is silence." Why? Because people are uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill it. And in doing so, they reveal more than they intended. Silence becomes your leverage. In relationships, silence allows you to listen, not just to words, but to emotions, to feel what's not being said, to respond with empathy, not ego. In business, the leaders who pause before they speak often command the most respect. Why? Because their silence communicates thoughtfulness, not indecision. Even in conflict, silence can be more powerful than shouting. When someone is angry and you remain calm, when someone insults you and you don't react, when chaos surrounds you and you remain grounded, that is power. Silence isn't avoidance. It's wisdom. It tells the world, I don't need to prove myself. I don't need to react. I am in control of me. And that kind of control? That's what transforms lives. Conclusion. Silence is not empty. It is full of presence, potential, and power. In silence, we find clarity in confusion, peace in chaos, and strength in vulnerability. We become better listeners, better leaders, and better lovers. We reconnect with our intuition, our creativity, and our truth. So the next time the world gets too loud, remember, you have a sanctuary within, a place of silence, a place of power. Go there often. Listen. Reflect. Grow. Because the most powerful voice you'll ever hear is the one that rises in silence. Thank you for watching.